CJ Peterson, and welcome to The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their heart. Today, my guest is Knox. We're going to be discussing caffeine marketing, which is kind of a unique thing to talk about regarding passions, but I'm kind of curious to hear the story behind it. I know a little bit of it, and I want to make sure that he shares it with you. Thank you for coming and joining us today, Evan.
Hey, what's up, CJ? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Could you share with everybody who's listening what caffeine marketing is?
Yeah, so we're in a marketing agency in the Atlanta area. We make marketing profitable for small companies that are doing less than $25 million a year in annual revenue. The nuts and bolts of how we do that. Generally, we use Story, a 7-part framework called Story Brand, in our marketing communication for our clients. And the nuts and bolts also might look like a website, Facebook ads. It really depends because the road to profitability and marketing that actually works is a little bit unique for each business.
Mm-hmm. But the main theme behind it is you gotta use money to make money. You gotta spend money to make money. That's what it is.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. But I guess for us, we try to be unique in that actually delivering the return on investment for our clients. A lot of entrepreneurs, when they're thinking about marketing, they just throw stuff on the wall in hopes that it sticks. But we come in with the strategy and experience to make it happen for them.
Okay, can you share kind of the premise behind it? What exactly got you started? And even because marketing, especially for a young person like you, is kind of a unique thing to jump into.
Mm-hmm. So it all starts when I'm younger. My grandfather and my I guess really my dad through my great-grandfather were all either business owners or entrepreneurs. And I remember the first time thinking about marketing is when my grandfather took me aside when I was 12. I would go to work with him on the weekends. Go to work, and I'm not really, what's a 12-year-old going to do at a jewelry store? So go hang out. I guess it's better than childcare or nanny or something like that.
Yeah, but
so
you're kind of the attractant, and everyone's always so cute. Let's go see him and go buy jewelry.
Yeah, and honestly, I remember there was a time when I was 14 years old and I sold a $22,000 pair of earrings.
Wow.
Sold, and granted, they knew my grandfather and they were pretty well off. So to them, they were like, oh, this sweet little kid, So, so I started in the entrepreneurialism business space way back when. And my grandfather actually took me aside and started to teach me about marketing. And that's when I found that it was just super interesting. I love the strategy behind it. And fast forward to about 4 years ago, and obviously there's a lot in between and after, but I had some marketing experience with a nonprofit that I was working at, and my dad had recently passed away, and he was also an entrepreneur and business owner. I thought, I can't help him anymore, but I can help other business owners and entrepreneurs like him. And so that's why I decided to start Caffeine Marketing.
Well, I know that you have a young family. You mentioned that you have a son and you have a wife. So congratulations. He's a little guy. That's kind of a big step to take out on your own with a young family. So kind of what propelled that?
So actually, to add a little bit more into there, when we got married, we had $100,000 in student loan debt.
Oh,
personally, I know, right? My sweet wife was she's awesome and I love her, but that was something that she had, and I married into that, and I was fully aware that she was worth that. But we also had that. We'd just gotten married, and we'd been married for probably 2 years or so, and we're trying to aggressively pay that off. And so we're still trying to pay that off and start Caffeine. So I was trying to balance the two of those. So it's definitely a challenge, and thankfully we've done it fairly well. But it was just I thought about it the entire time. I was like, all right, I'm going to choose to grow this slowly. But yeah, it's been good. Thankfully, we've doubled every year.
Marketing, because you have to be hyped on caffeine to keep it moving, keep your life spinning. Is that what it is?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, to make all that happen, there was a lot of caffeine involved. So obviously, we love caffeine too. So
caffeine is a wonderful thing, especially with an author person brain. Caffeine gets everything moving.
Oh, I can only imagine. So yeah,
it gets fun.
Cool.
So you kind of explained a little bit of the marketing kind of strategies and stuff, but your website has some resources to it. Can you share what the website is and what the resources are that are on it?
Yeah, so it's caffeine.marketing. There's no .com, just caffeine.marketing. One of the resources that we have on there, besides just over 100 awesome, really detailed blogs, is a free guide on how to build a winning sales funnel. And it'll teach people step by step exactly how to build a sales funnel, which is anything from the moment they land onto your website to the moment they actually work with you. Most people don't have an intentional sales funnel, but this will teach you to build a sales funnel that works for you in your sleep. And you can get that free guide on our website.
Can you explain what a sales funnel is?
Yeah. So think of marketing in this way. Think of it as brand awareness, consideration, and conversion. Conversion is the point in which you want somebody to buy a product or service or a book, whatever that may be. And then consideration is when they're already familiar with your product or service, but they've not yet actually taken that action to buy it or purchase it or work with you. But brand awareness is the point in which people have never heard of your brand before. And so what a sales funnel does is it's in the consideration phase. It helps people move from aware of your brand or your business to actually working with you. And generally that's through some sort of guide on your website, like what I mentioned, a free email or like a free webinar, or a keynote, something like that that's of value to people that they're willing to give their information for. And then you have a 7 to 10-part email sequence that educates them on the problem that you solve. So that's a sales funnel. Is it something that's automatic, that happens for you in your sleep, that people can basically build a relationship with you online?
Gotcha. One of the many hats that I do wear and juggle is I do help with a PR firm, Perceptive PR. I do kind of their hunting for the different speaking stuff. The reason that I could tell mainly I love Sandy Lawrence, and the reason that I love working with her is because she has a heart for people. At the core, it's people, and she wants to see them succeed, however that looks. So what got you, you were taught the marketing growing up, but there's a difference between being taught marketing and jumping into being a, marketing person.
Mm-hmm.
What made you make it jump?
Most of my experience before starting Caffeine Marketing was in the social media space. So creating content, running a team to create the content, posting about it, content marketing, that sort of stuff. When I started Caffeine Marketing, we primarily offered that as a service. And then very quickly, I found, okay, what these business owners and entrepreneurs really care about is growing their bottom line, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought social media is actually not the best way to do that in a lot of regards. If you're going to outsource it, generally you need to be at a pretty high revenue target, or revenue number for that to make sense, because there's so many other ways for you to get a better return on your investment if you work with an agency. So Facebook advertising, Google advertising, YouTube advertising, creating that PDF for you, creating that email sequence, all of those things actually are going to be a lot more helpful in growing your revenue than having somebody else post pictures and videos for you, which again is really important. But it's just not the first thing that I would, advise somebody to invest money into, if that makes sense. So it started with social media. And then I just decided, hey, if I'm really going to be helpful to these people, I really need to be a master at this. And so that's just through ongoing education. And then I'm a big fan of StoryBrand. That's been one of my favorite philosophies to use in marketing.
Okay. Well, let's back this up quite a bit. We've taken a little guy and a view and the doors to, the social media and stuff. There's a section in there where generally people's lives is where they figure out what direction they want to head into. As a teen, as, a young person in school or whatnot, I'm sure business was your direction probably because of the marketing background. Marketing was your direction, but what made you love it? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What made it your core passion? That's kind of what I want to know. I want to know what drove you to have this as your passion.
All right, so let's go a little deep. When I was going into high school, my dad started to struggle with narcotics. And so we went from having everything that we could ever want in the world, or me as an only child, to the house being foreclosed on, me just picking up that my mom was pretty worried about bills, her not necessarily saying that, but like just being perceptive, losing the cars that we had, like everything went out the window. And so my lifestyle completely shifted. So in that moment, I was like very aware, like finances were important, and it was something that was like mattered to me. So take where my dad's at. And I tried to love my dad and forgive my dad all through that process. And eventually he got clean, but he never really was able to like build his business back up to what it was. And so for me, I had done entrepreneurial things during that season. Like I had started like a landscaping company, quote unquote company. I had basically hired my friends out to go move furniture. And so I was doing anything and everything to earn money and to
Like
try
the
this like,
entrepreneurial bug, like way back when.
right. In some ways for fun, in some ways also out of necessity, you know? So like if I need to repair my car, like, you know, I had to pay for it because my family was really struggling. So take that, fast forward and go back to starting the company. My dad had passed away, and I really did. The moments for me where I feel the most joy and purpose is helping other people. And I really does connect me to my dad, who's no longer here, when I do help those business owners. Because when I can think of a handful right now where they have like 300% increase in revenue or 200% increase in revenue since the beginning that we've worked together. And I don't see necessarily like, oh, this is some person in Texas or this is some person in Florida, whatever. I see these as kind of a way that I can remember and honor my dad. And so I know that, you know, we could probably work with larger companies that have over 500 employees, but that just doesn't personally connect with me. And I guess it's a way of remembering my dad and honoring him in a way
Mhm.
is by taking care of these small business owners.
Nice. Well, I know like we were talking before that we started that, the journey is real. I wanted to start with real people, not
Hmm.
like celebrities, big name type people. I want the real people. I want the real story. Um, it's the people is what I want people to understand and take the masks off and
Yeah.
be vulnerable and just, share the story, their journeys. So I thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
But just like the journey is real, down to this level, the real people, you got to start them somewhere and then you can help them and you can kind of cheer them on, their best cheerleader, their biggest fan sort of idea. And I like that. You're doing that for small businesses, especially now. I mean, a lot of small businesses are seriously hurting. So in this time, I like to try to keep these somewhat timeless, but you kind of
Yeah.
ignore it now. There's no ignoring the elephant in the room. It's
Yeah.
here. So how are you helping businesses now that are hurting even more seriously than before this whole mess started?
There's a couple different types of companies that I think that are out there right now. There are the ones that probably are doing, actually, I'm a partner in a couple of them that are doing just fine. Like this business is normal. Their products and services are not experiencing anything. Most of those are online businesses. So I'm not going to necessarily refer to them because to them, it's just business is normal, or you're an Amazon and you're selling more than ever. So not talking there. Then there's two different types of businesses that I kind of see in this regard, maybe three, is that there's one who has the resources right now to invest in their marketing to build a better foundation. So for these people, we're often working on like redoing their website, even though they don't have sales that are actually coming in. We're trying to build the framework back up and basically go back to the studs of the house and make sure everything's put together correctly. And a lot of times they're
And
losing
when the
sales.
horses are released, they're running full speed.
Yes, and so that they can make up all the loss in revenue that they missed out on. A jewelry store right now would actually be a great example because up to this point they've not been open for a couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
and so it would be a great time for them to be working on their website, working on adding an online store, all of that stuff. So there's that type of customer who has the resources financially to deploy. There's another type that has the staff to deploy. They don't have the financial they don't just have a bunch of margin that they can invest back in, but they could start using their employees for alternative purposes. So we might be guiding people on how to best pivot their current employees' roles if they want to keep their employees on staff. Writing blogs is a great example. Creating video content might be another great example. Anything that is not going to cost them money as far as advertising goes, but they can actually use people's time. That's probably a great option. And then, unfortunately, there's another one, which is this is just a really scary season for as a business owner. And so for those, there's a couple of things that we've done really just to be empathetic and help them as best we can. But for some, it's just a really tough season. So
Right. So I like how you take it and it's kind of like making lemonade out of lemons.
mhm.
It's a bad situation, take it and turn it and spin it. With me, I'm an author, I'm a blogger, I'm a podcaster. So for me, nothing changed. So I was in that first group where
Yeah.
it's like people like, I don't know what to do. And they kept trying to message me and talk to me. I said, look, this is my normal world. I still do need to work when you're normally at work. Let me work.
Yeah.
And so for me, not much has changed.
Mhm.
For that last group though, my heart bleeds for them. You know, they're the
Mhm.
mom and pop shops that are dependent on people coming into their stores, and or
Yeah.
the little diners that are just now reaching in Texas that are reaching 50%. They're just opened that up to 50% recently. People can come in too. And so it's like painful, I think
Mhm.
is the word.
It is. It's certainly painful. We actually, there's a restaurant that just opened up right next to us.
Mhm.
And so, because we live in like the city, and so we've been wanting to check this place out, and then obviously the pandemic, and we were just super thankful that they didn't decide to close their doors because they had literally opened right once this happened, and so we were thankful that
Ouch,
at least so far they're still here hanging around.
ouch, shame.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to your website. So what all is on there? You said that there's a plan, like if they sign up for an email sort of thing, they get the funnel.
Mhm.
So what else is on there?
Well, we have a really awesome blog. I mean, aside from you can work with caffeine if you're a business owner or in the marketing space, you can obviously work with us. Our blog is really great. We've got everything from how to start a startup with less than $150, five marketing books you should read, a social media guide step by step. I've got all kinds of reviews on there, so I'm pretty proud of our blog. I think it's really helpful.
Is there a
We got a few.
blog list versus an email list?
It's funny is I actually don't email out our blog, like our newest blogs. So like this month we've added like 30 blogs, um, and I should totally email that out. So, but no, I don't currently have an email list
Okay,
for the
speaking of the
blogs.
marketer, email them out. Because some people like me, I'd be totally interested in, mainly the blog itself.
Yeah,
Sounds like there's some, awesome information that's in there. And it sounds like you keep kind of staying on the edge of everything. And as it comes up, you're going to put it in a blog. So to kind of keep everybody up to date, that's something I'd definitely be interested in.
okay, noted. Sometimes it's like a hyperlink in a newsletter that we do, but I'll give it a little bit more attention for sure.
Well, I know in my newsletter, like I do a newsletter every other week. And when I put the blogs, I put, what the blogs are. And I have like a
Yeah,
new blog page that they can go to. But I just kind of like give like a little, hey, this is the new blog for this. And this is basically what it is in a nutshell, like a three sentence
yeah, yeah.
on what it's about.
Little teaser about what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
It's great.
So it's kind of a cool way of doing it and let people know, exactly what it is that you're writing and what's in there. And especially if there's new stuff coming out, like you said, people are kind of gearing up for the reopening. Texas is kind of, I think, leading the way in that, is my understanding, on opening everything up. We're now up to, well, actually, this is going to air in July. So for those who are listening, we're actually taping this the 5th of June. So we're about 50% opening on a lot of businesses, actually pretty much across the board now. So we'll kind of see where this heads. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. And I think pretty much the rest of the US is trying to see how this is going to play out in Texas, because we're kind of a big petri dish right now.
Hmm.
Everyone's kind of watching it going, okay, what's this going to look like, sort of thing.
Sure.
And so, by July, we'll figure out what's going to happen.
There was this video, some woman on YouTube. She created a first video, the version of the video is like a note talking to myself pre-pandemic or something like that. And she is trying to explain to herself in July or January. She's like, oh, like you don't know what's gonna come up. It's gonna be crazy. You're never gonna believe it. And then all of a sudden she has like a part two of this version. And then it's like, we're gonna have murder hornets. It's gonna be ridiculous. It's like
It's like
trying
watching.
to paint a picture of how crazy the year is.
Like the best way I describe it is like somebody's playing Jumanji, and I wish they would just finish the game already, because every time we turn around, it's murder hornets, it's pandemic, it's now an asteroid that's supposed to just miss the Earth in June. And yes, I am serious. So it's like,
Yeah.
really, can we just delete 2020 and move to 2021 and get it over with? Kind of
One
a
of the people, it is. one of the people on my team, she's, I don't know, early 20s, and she's like, "This is like the worst year of my life," and she didn't mean like, her
Nothing
personal
personal,
life.
like
Like,
global.
yeah, globally, this is the worst year of her life, and I was like, "That's super interesting," but yeah, you're probably right.
Well, it's like 2020 was supposed to be the year, 2020 vision, 2020, new decade and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
please don't let this be foreshadowing of the rest of the decade.
Whew. Hope not.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an author, so we do like the Comic Cons, and every time we turn around, there's another one that's been canceled or postponed and canceled.
Oh,
Oh, it's painful.
I can only imagine. That's really tough.
Yeah, so like that portion of getting out is just, oh, it's painful. And so it's like, and as an author, I'm a people watcher.
Yeah.
And so I'm secluded. It's just like, oh, this is not helping the juices flow as far as, where I want a story to go.
Yeah. It's almost like a comedian. Like, you got to have some material. There's got to be some human interaction or something
Exactly.
like
Well, if there's a comedian out there, I'm telling you, there's like tons of material out there right now for you.
that.
Just
It sure is.
pick up a newspaper, pick up look on Yahoo and Google and everything. You got, seriously. I do not know I don't think I want to know what level 7 of Jumanji is going to look like right now.
No, I don't either. No thanks.
But, well, like I said, I do appreciate you coming on. It's been fun. We did
It
run each
has.
other a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I really appreciate you having me. It's been awesome.
okay. So where can they find you again?
Caffeine.marketing.
Can you go ahead and spell it for those who are listening?
Yeah. CAFFEINE dot marketing. So MARKETING.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Evan. You've given us a lot of information. For those who are in some sort of a business, kind of regardless of size at this point, there's a lot of interesting information, it sounds like, in his blogs, which I will go check out when we're done here. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Evan, for being here. Really appreciate you guys. This has been The Journey is Real. We talk to real people with real passions who share a real portion of their hearts. I'm CJ Peterson with cjpetersonwrites.com. Until next time.